Okay, yeah, thanks for that. So the next thing we're going to do today is to just do a very simple bank reconciliation. Then, like I said, we're going to go a little bit into CO, where we're going to plan cost and do actual and check our reports. Then we take it up from there. So still in financial accounting, so we want to basically create bank master data. I think I have a little note to share about this, just to explain some basic concepts. Then later we'll do an introduction to CO, then we take it up from there. Nelly, you're welcome. Sorry, I'm guessing you had something to do.
No, I've been waiting for like 10 minutes.
You were waiting in our break time.
Which break time?
Yes, now we went for break for 10 minutes.
Oh boy, so this is the second part.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, sorry, I always think it's 11 a.m., not 10 a.m.
Yeah, there was a change. There was a change.
Because I've
And I
actually
even sent you.
been on my work desk since 10 a.m., not knowing that the class had
You
started.
didn't check your
Yeah.
WhatsApp.
No, I
I sent you
didn't.
personal messages, send messages on the group. Okay, so
Oh,
sorry.
I didn't see it. Thank you.
We did 1 hour. We have gone, I think, 1 hour 30 minutes back since the technical training has ended. I'm thinking we bring it back so that we can finish early also and do other things. So let's
And
see.
let her know, sorry, let her know it's going forward so that by tomorrow, next week, she will also going forward. It's
Yeah,
1
so
hour,
that means
earlier from what
so that
it
means it's going to
usually.
be 9 a.m.
Yeah, from your
Exactly.
end, 5 p.m. I think it's 4 hours different. So
No,
9
5 p.m.
p.m.
is 17. So 9 plus 8 is 17. Yes, okay, so that's 9 a.m.
Okay, so let's look briefly about customer bank master data. Then we will do it. Then we look at cost very, very fast. So basically, the concept of bank master data, or the concept of master data, is that master data in SAP refers to information that is maintained in the system and used for a long time without being changed. So when we did customer master data, we created customer, you see all those information will put their phone number, address, and all that. Is assumed that most of those information will stay for a while, and they don't frequently change. Same thing happens to your bank master data. There are information like your bank account numbers, bank address, bank codes, and all that. Those information rarely change. I think your personal bank account number has been your bank account number for years. Probably it will be your bank account number probably till we get old and leave. So that's the essence of customer master data, or it's the concept of master data. For bank master data, we have very four major details. We have the bank directory, we have house bank, then we have also how to apportion or assign this bank master data to your customer account and your vendor account. So we're just going to see how you can link your bank master data to your customer vendor accounts. So to manage bank directory, you just have to provide what we call the bank key. Yeah. And the bank directory contains the address and the general control data of banks. Each bank is going to be used, that's going to be used needs a master data record in the bank directory. Bank master records can be created in the bank directory manually, automatically, but we're going to be actually using the manual stuff. There are 3 distinct characteristics which you must know. A bank country and a unique code is what we call the bank key. So for every bank account you create, there is a unique code we call the bank key. These 2 fields help to identify any bank in the SAP system. So the country and the bank key is how the system knows your bank, right? There's also address and control data, which is part of your bank key. And we also have what we call the house bank, which we will see in subsequent slides. Now, for you to create a bank master data, we use the transaction code FI01, and you can see the basic information that are required, the name, the region, the street. After you have your bank key, then you have to provide these basic informations. Then we can also do what we can set specific checks for our bank master data. We can decide to tell the system, oh, I want our bank to have bank account number to be 10 digits, 12 digits, 15 digits, and all that. So all those settings you can do, the length of your bank account number and the length of your bank key. You can set up that in your system also. Then house bank is also another functionality that is also very important. Your house bank is basically your physical bank. So the house bank contains bank master data information. So your house bank is the umbrella, and within your house bank, you have your bank key, right? So you can see here that we have the hierarchy is the company code, the house bank, and the bank key. So that is arranged in that level. So house bank is it's just like you're walking into your physical bank and you want to make payments. When you walk into First Bank, for example, once you present yourself, First Bank will ask for your name and your account number. Those things you're giving First Bank is like a key to access your account. Yeah. And how do they know that this account you're giving them is not Access Bank or is First Bank? There is actually a bank key in those digits that tells the system those digits, those bank account numbers are not just ordinary random numbers. That's why if you want to make a payment in your app and you select the wrong bank account, it triggers an error to tell you that this bank account doesn't exist in this bank. Because there is a key within those, you see those 10 digits, there is a key that identifies really what that account represents. But for us, they're just random numbers. But within those numbers, the bank know that there is a key that triggers that this account belongs to Access or it belongs to UBA. But we don't know because it's not what we do. Yeah. So, but the house bank contains the bank key, the bank account, and other details that are necessary for you to create your bank. And of course, how do we assign this bank to our vendors? Like I told you, when we're creating the vendor master data, there is a portion for banks. You have to now assign your bank account to your customer, your vendor master data. So we'll just go into the system. Later, I'll share this documentation with you, but we'll just go into the system and see how this works. So go to Financial Accounting Banks, then go to Master Data, Bank Record, and you have FI01, which is to create. So go to FI01, provide your country, you can create for any country anyways. Then provide the bank key. So the question is, how do I know that it is 10 digits or 12 digits or 20 digits I'm supposed to type here? Because this is like a key, right? So to do that, like we had in the presentation, just a minute. Where is my PowerPoint? Okay. Okay, so to do that, you can go through general settings. Let me check that. This is NetWeaver. We no longer use NetWeaver. So I'll leave this screen open. Go to /o SPRO. SPRO. Okay, go to reference. Now you're going to check for ABAP platform. In this, in the previous video, we have NetWeaver, but in S4HANA, it has been changed to ABAP platform. So instead of seeing NetWeaver, you're going to look for ABAP platform. I think we go to general settings. Then let me check. I think it's set countries, just a minute. Set country specific checks. Yeah. Go here, our platform, general settings, countries, set country specific checks. Yeah, so you look for the US. And click on it. So you see here that, first of all, they say that the bank key here will be assigned externally. That means the numbers will be assigned externally. If we change it, if you click the drop down, you will see we can also we can use the bank number as the bank key. Yeah, so any of this, or if we use one here, it means that we're telling the system that the bank number should be the same thing. The bank account number should be the same thing as the bank key. But let's use 4. Let's assign it externally. Then this is the length of the postal code. Maximum value without gaps. So it asks us to provide 10 digits. This is the length of the bank account number 10. The checking rule is 6. Then this is the maximum length. That means you can do less than 10. The bank number length is 10. Postcode account is 10. So this is what controls what you put here. So let's say, for example, I want to put a bank key. So let's say 2023. Today is go to 001. Click on enter. So this is my bank key. Then I put the bank name I'm creating for, since I have a UBA GL, I have to create a UBA bank account. So this is 246,24689. So you're free. I think you can do less than 10. You can't do more than 10. Maybe a bank account. The region, you can say LA. The street, LA, city, LA. Then here, if they have Swift is for international transfers. Then here you have the bank number. This is not the bank account number, it's just the bank number. Probably be a number that they use to identify this bank. So let's say I can do 100, 500, 600, 2468. Enter. Then I save. So you can see now Bank US, this was created. So this bank key has been created. So go back. Then once you create the bank key, you can change it, you can display it, you can delete it, you can use any of these options. But the next thing is leave here, go to house bank and bank accounts. Then you have here manage house bank. So create your house bank, select your company code, say okay. Then here you have to click on new entries. Yeah, so like I said, the account bank key is just something that identifies that bank. So it's different from your bank account number. Bank key is just, every bank has a key that identifies them from other banks. Yeah, so you may not know, it could also be part of your account numbers, but the idea in the structure in SAP is that there's a bank key that differentiates every bank account number. But there's also what we call the house bank. The house bank is the physical bank, like your normal bank. So key just, so you assign the bank, you assign the account, the bank key to your house bank. So there's account, there's company code, there's house bank, and house bank carries everything. So if I want to do any transaction, I won't be seeing my account, I won't be seeing my bank key. What I'll be seeing is my house bank. So in my house bank, I have UBA NG, which means UBA Nigeria, or US rather, or 01. So we don't have too many UBA US in the system. Then bank country is the US. The bank key, if you click the drop down and put the country, you should be able to pull my house bank. Okay, so look at this, is it here, the one I just created. Is it this? No, this is not it. Okay, so just
That
a
is it, though.
second.
That
That's
is
it.
it. Yes.
Okay, let me check again.
Go back. Let's check.
Okay, 03. 2003. I don't
Yes.
think. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It is. This is the bank number. 500, 600. Yes, it's actually it's your correct. So for you, if you don't know if you don't remember the number, you can search it. But if you remember the number, just create it. Just type it here. So when you save the bank key, you can note the number down and just put it here. Or you come here and search, put your country and search for it. Then you're going to see it. Because I didn't note it down, so it's confusing. Okay, so that's that. So put your bank key, put the telephone number probably of your account officer and the contact person. And if you're done, this is the bank key. We need to come here and create the house bank. So click on create. So we have created that. If you want to change it, you can change it. Now, if you go to address, for example, you're going to see that because we selected the bank key, the system has populated the address and other details. So what we have done here is to assign the bank key we created to this house bank UBA 01. If you're done, you can click on save. Then, of course, it's a new configuration. It will want to go to the workbench. I will double click here to look for my own company code. Okay, so it's fine. I'll just click on OK. It's going to one system and say OK. All right. So I've saved. Then go back. So since I have a house bank now, everything is fine. Go back. Now, how do I now assign this bank to my vendor? Because I want to use, my vendor has said that the bank details that the vendor has shared his bank detail, and the bank detail is UBA. So remember, when you want to pay vendors will give you bank details. Those banks should be existing in your own bank master data. That's how you can tell the system, okay, this customer has UBA bank. So basically, in real life, all the banks are actually in our master data, all the banks, but the bank we use for payment is, tied to the GL. But what we want to do is to tell the system, okay, for this customer, for this vendor or this supplier, this is the bank detail, or this is the bank he uses. So if I go to BP, For example, I will search for, what's the name of my vendor I just created? Ajib, right? Ajib, use asterisk, start the search. Ajib is here, double click. So once I double click, I can go to edit here. No, bank is not in the supplier financial. Bank is in general data. So I will come here, look for general data. G, AF. Sorry. Let me edit this first. Sorry. So business partner general. Yeah, so it will take me to this screen. I'll click on edit again because it's not edited. Then I'll come here to payment transaction. So you have to provide the bank master data of your vendor. So if you come here to CRO means bank country or region, come here, select your region or your country. To the US. Select the bank key. So in the bank key here, click the drop down. Remember bank key we created. Click the drop, make sure you're not creating here, you're selecting. Make sure the country is here. Say okay. Then you're going to see your bank key. So this is my bank key, 2023-30-2001. Select it. Then put the bank account number of your vendor. Let's say 081-123-123-12. Then you click on enter. It's longer than 10. So remember the digit is 10. So once you click on enter, it's fine. Then you save. So this is how to create your bank master data and assign it to your vendor. So part of your task will also be to create probably 3 banks and assign them to your different vendors. Okay, now another thing we're going to be looking at today is we want to go a little bit into the CEO space. And the idea is for planning cost. And we also need to so the idea is that outside, when reporting, right, most times we're familiar with reporting with GLs. Yeah, but but of course, reporting only on GL basis can limit information, can limit decision making. So that's why the concept of controlling, which is the CEO part of finance, is also, that's why it's also a very important module. So basically CEO is used for planning, and it's quite wide. It also has other modules like profitability analysis, product costings, these other very, very complex topic. But what we're going to be doing today is how do we plan cost and how do we see especially for departments. So let's say in your company, you have different departments, you have sales, you have admin, you have procurement, and all these departments carry out transactions, and the approach is that you want to know how these departments are faring. You want to know how to plan. Let's say they have a budget for the year. So you have planned that cost and you want to actually know post actuals and know what the variance are as per departmental level. So that's the idea of this next session. So to do that, we're going to start. First of all, you have to have GLs that are primary cost elements. So basically, for you to move into the integration between finance and CO is tied to the primary cost elements, or what we call the primary GLs. They are your normal GLs, but there's just an extra step. They are different in terms of creation. So we're going to first of all create GLs that are primary cost element GLs. Then we will assign them we'll do the integration between FI and CO, do our cost planning, do the actuals, and check the reports. Okay, so let's start. But before I start, please just give me a second. Let me get a quick link. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start with creating 3 GLs that will represent something like 3 departments, and we'll just probably work with them 2 or 3. And so we'll go to FS00. So we're going to create admin. I'll just do 2 because of time, or 1. I'll do 1, then you guys can do extra 2, just follow the same step. So I'm going to create 400. I have 1 to 2. Click on create. Now, in the GL account type, if you want to plan cost, click on the drop down, select what we call primary cost. Now, in cost accounting, we have 2 very important GLs. We call them the primary cost elements and the secondary cost elements. Primary cost elements are basically used to plan cost and they are tied to GLs. Secondary cost elements are used for CO specifically to do, of course, they are very important for distributing cost from one cost center to another, and of course for product costing and when we talk about assessment and distributions and the rest of that. But for cost planning within FI, or just to plan cost and according to departments, we're going to be using the primary cost or revenue. Then we are planning for expense, which is okay. So so this is admin. So I'll use admin throughout this illustration. So admin, administrative expense. I'll use admin cost here. So I'll use this instead of expense, I'll say admin cost. Administrative project cost. Okay. Go to control data. This is very important. Come down. Now you see the cost element category. Now this cost element category defines what this cost would be for, right? So, and we said that we're creating primary cost. However, there are other kinds of costs. We have accrual and deferral if you're going to be doing accrual and deferral within the costing space. We have revenues. If this revenue will be tied to the module we call SD. So if you're creating revenues that will be tied to other modules like sales and distribution, you can, if that GL will serve that purpose, if that GL is a sales deduction GL, or if it's used for external settlement, you can create those GLs. But these are basically GLs that are tied to other modules and other concepts. But what we're going to be creating is what we call the primary cost. Like I've said, we want to do planning and see variances for at the departmental level. So select primary cost. It's a required field, so you have to provide it. Go to create bank and interest, come here, look for a cost. So this is a cost account. It's not general, so you have to select cost account G004. Then if you're done, click on save. So this is how to create primary cost elements, or what we call GLs that are related or that are tied to CO. Remember, the ones we have been creating since will, if they are FI related, you can put them under balance sheet or non-operating expense. But if they are CO related, they will either fall under the primary cost or the secondary cost. Because we're using them for planning purposes and to see variance at departmental level, we're sticking to the primary cost or revenues. So we have created administrative project cost. So the idea is that the finance manager wants to know how we can plan for project cost for the year. And also when we start incurring project expenses, how are we going to see the variances and how are we going to monitor and track this cost? Okay, so we have created a GL that will be used to do our cost. The next thing that we'll do is to map this GL to the costs, as do what we call an assignment. So we need to tell the system that although we have created this GL as a cost component, we have to actually assign this GL to a cost element. So to do that, we can use the transaction code OKB9. OKB9. We'll call automatic account assignment. The essence of this is that whenever you want to post to this GL, you have to provide a cost center. That's the idea of mapping the GL to a cost element, or what we call account assignment. So that whenever you want to post any transaction to this GL, you must provide the cost center that you want to track for this GL. Or if you don't remember the transaction code OKB9, I can also add it here. So one of the things you will do in one of your little tricks is to make sure you add your transaction codes. You can go to SPRO. I'm sure this is in controlling. Check controlling. It should be profit centers. So this is account assignments, object for profit centers. No. I don't think here. Sorry, basic settings. Okay, I think I need to. Okay, profit centers, profit center accounting, actual postings, automatic account assignment for revenue elements. So it takes you also, so you can either go through the OKB9 transaction code or you go through the menu part, right? So we're going to add this GL we just created, we're going to add it. So say add, put your company code, put the cost element we just created. So you can click on the drop down. If you don't know the GL number, The cost element is the primary cost element we just created. If you don't know the GL number, just search for it. So it's because we created it differently from other GLs. See, it's the only one that is showing here. We'll select it. Tell the system the cost center that is this GL is tied to. Remember, we created cost centers in our previous class. We'll see if the ones that are there, if anyone is admin related. So we have an admin cost center. We did this in our second class. We'll select admin cost center. And so we have told this, what we are doing now is anytime I call this GL, this cost center is what is expected to be assigned to this GL. Then save. Then this is part of my configuration. So I say, okay. And so once you do the mapping, the next thing we need to do is to do the integration between FI and CO. So let's go to finance. So go to finance, go to financial accounting global settings, go to ledgers, go to integration. So you can see it's an integration of controlling with finance. I think they are basic things. The document types, they're already set up, so no need. The document type for CO, this is secondary. Where is that? Secondary cost element CO. There should be primary cost elements. I hope so. Let's see, should be 2, but I'll check for that now. Then the next is define document type for mapping variants. Define this. They're already mapped. So our document type, the document type for mapping variants is 00001 for standard and A000 for real time. So we're using the standard and it's fine, it's existing. Then check and define default values for posting and controlling. So execute this. You need to make sure your company code is here because we need to map it to that 0001 standard mapping variance. If it's not here, you can probably just say tick on this and copy it. Then just put your company code here. Enter. So to just pick this, it already exists. Wonderful. So let's search for it. So just come here, A1. Let's search if it's already mapped. I think we did it in our last class. Yeah, so it's mapped, so it's fine. No worries at all. Then define ledger for CO version. Also check this. I think it's already there. So just check and make sure all this, I think we did all this when we did our CO first training. So once you check and the configurations are fine, the next thing we have to do is to go and plan cost. So let's assume that the financial manager wants us to plan for admin for the year, or for, let's say we have a particular project happening in December. He wants us to, first of all, have a plan in the department admin. Let's say they are portioning like 2 million for this project. And of course, within the year or within the month, we're going to be having a lot of cost. So let's see how we can plan and do the actual postings and of course check our variance. I think I remember in one of my interviews, this was just what they asked, right? How do you, in CO, right? How do you plan for cost? And how do you do the actual, how do you make the actual payment? What they're asking is basically make sure you mention the secondary cost element, make sure you mention the integrations, make sure you mention the mapping of the GL to the account assignment. Then how do you do planning? The transaction code for planning is KPO6. But if you go to CO, for example, go to accounting, rolling, cost center, planning, let's see, keys KPO4 and KPO6. I think this S4. Okay, so we have an issue. It has been actually removed from S4, but it's still live, so we might not see it here now. I think that's one of the changes we have between ECC and S4. But just use KPO6, KP06. Yeah, so it's here. Now, remember in CU, we defined our version as version 0. Version 0 is used for planning. Then we're planning for, let's do for the year, right? Or we can even plan for only November. Let's do for the year, so I mean, it's fine. So we're planning from January to December, and you also have put the year. So here you can select the cost center you're planning for. So click the drop down. Click the drop down, select the cost center, click on start. So I think we have only one cost. Okay, we have to admin. We created all this in our last class. So select the admin, the primary cost center, the cost center, and the cost element, which is the GL. Let's also select the GL we're planning for my to select the GL. So we have told the system we're planning for this cost center and for this GL. Okay, once you select those two, click on the overview screen. Okay, so we now have to put a fixed cost. Let's say we're planning for this, we're doing, I said 1.2, no, I like 1.2, 1.8 million. Then check the distribution key. We're doing equal distribution across the 12 months, right? So let me use 12 million across the 12 months. So equal distribution. We're not planning any fixed consumption. Just click on enter. Then before you post, go to period screen just at the bottom here, or you can use this icon, but go to period screen. You can see that the system has distributed 1 million according to the period. So every month, so we expected that the planned cost for every month is 1 million from January to December. So if this is fine, just click on post. So the data has been saved and posted. So we have planned cost for every month. Now, the next thing is, how do we post actual? Now, to post actual, you can either use GL or use your normal FP60 like you're doing an invoice. So let's use FP60. Remember, it's an expense, so you use vendor. It's not an income. So go to FP60. Let's say for admin, there's a vendor we normally procure diesel from, a vendor we do logistics from, but all these are tied to admin departments. So that's the idea. The idea is that admin departments, the management wants to know how to track all the expenses that are tied to a particular department. So we have created the department, the primary cost. We have created the cost center, which is admin. We did that in the second class. What we have done is to now map the GL and the cost center, and we have saved that. We have actually decided that from our plan for every month, admin department is expected to spend a little bit around 1 million. Now, what I'm doing now is, how will the system check that admin in January spent 200,000 or 500,000? So I'm going to post like some transactions in different months. So for this vendor, I don't need to be searching every time. That's my backspace. This is my vendor. So I'm going to post one in March. I'll just do 3 transactions in different periods so we can see the beauty. Post one in March. March was around, we spent, the beauty of this is when you have so many transactions. We spent this on, I don't know if we have rents, say logistics, IT. But let me just do something. Okay. Spend this on IT, 480,000. Select the GL. I might even post just one GL, one date for every. So this is IT expenses. So let me do one thing. Let me post all these expenses in 1 month. So let me see, everything happened in December. This is March. Okay. Let me just stick to December. So in December, we spent over 1.1, let's say 850,000. Out of that 850,000, IT took 350,000. Admin. Okay, let me see. IT took 350,000. Admin should be, let me see. Admin. I've not tied IT to a cost center, so I'll just put everything under admin. Let me delete this line. So admin spends 850,000 in December. Now, see what happened. If I click on enter, I've put the amount here. Let me put the reference. If I click on enter, the system will pick it as if you want to save it. If I click on simulate, system has picked it, but actually, if I go back and say okay, and go to the side here, the system, if I go to the side here, the system has blocked this cost center, right? So let me simulate. It's expected that this will post to the cost center because I have mapped this admin to the cost center. Then let me also show something. Let's assume I want to send this also to 40. This is for, no. My admin is not 4001, is it? Just a minute, guys. Let me check something. If you want to delete, just select, and there is this minus here. Then you will select. Let me go back and check. Click on search. So my admin cost. Oh, so I have admin expense for, so it's admin project cost that I'm supposed to be selecting. I've selected admin project cost, and I'll put 850. Click on enter. You see, automatically, you see cost center came out here, right? Cost center came out here because I've mapped this cost center, this GL to a cost center. If I put 4001 and probably put 100,000 and come here and try to put a cost center, just try. So come here, search for the cost center, then select admin, then click on simulate. So you see what it's telling me. that this GL was not defined as in controlling area. So that's the difference between when you create the GLs, right? If you don't create a GL to speak to cost center, if you don't map at the point of creation, if you don't select primary cost element and you don't do the even if you create a primary cost element and you don't do the mapping, it's fine. You can do this transaction. But if you don't create the GL as a primary cost element, you cannot map the GL to a cost center. So when you have this error, know that you have not created the GL correctly. I'm also displaying it so that you would have that at the back of your mind. So I only have one GL admin costs for projects, and I've mapped it to a cost center. So automatically, whenever you select this GL, it will be speaking to this cost center. That's the essence of the mapping. So click on simulate and post. So I've posted this. Now the question is, the month of December has ended, or even before then, the finance manager might want to just do a report, or I've asked you to bring a report of your spending, or wants to see how the admin department is faring as compared to budget, probably monitor and see what it's like. So a run report to view your cost centers or to view variance. There are so many reports and the reports are long. So let me see if I can just go through here. So since we are in controlling, you can go to controlling cost center accounting. Let me see if there's primary elements here. Okay, let's do it. Cost center accounting, check information system, reports for cost centers, plan and actual comparison. Then let's look at 611, 87611, actual plan and variance. So double click on this. Then the system has picked the last settings we did. So come here in the cost center, select, if you have a cost center group, you can select. If you have values, just select the values. So come here, select the cost center you want to check. It's admin. I think it's fine. And click on execute. So you can see that for the cost element admin, we have an actual cost of 12 million and a planned cost for the year. We have an actual cost of 850,000 and the planned cost for the year at 12 million. So for this year, the variance is still 1119, 11,150 plus. If we double click on this, we can now check, or that you can check by period. So you can check cost center period breakdown. Just double click on the line, this will come out. Double click on the period breakdown. So you're just compiling, see the period breakdown. And we can actually see planning overview, actual line items. We can display all these reports. So this is how, this is one of the ways you can plan for cost and actually do your actual and monitor. This is one of the very, very important functionalities of the controlling module. I'm hoping this will be fast. Okay, so you can see by month. You can see that no variance for other months, but you can see for December, the actual cost we have is 850. The planned cost is 1 million. I have a variance of this and the percentage of that variance. And of course, if you come to report here, you can send this report, you can print, you can send via email, and other functions that you can do. Yeah, so this will bring us to the end of this session. So what I want you to do is send me a screenshot. Your first assignment is to finish the postings. Your second assignment is to show me your screenshot of your period breakdown, your actual and your planned cost for the month of December. Any questions? Any
Okay, Kelly.
feedback? Yeah.
Okay, well done.
Yeah.
So I wanted to add, like you said, that for you to have a call center link to your map to your GL, so we need
Yeah.
to. So do we need to go back for all the GLs that
Leave those GLs there. Just create new GLs. Like I say, create 3. Create for admin, create for sales, and maybe create for logistics. Then just if you do one, if you do a plan cost for admin and show the variance, show the post actuals for admin and show me the variance. If you want to do 3 of them, wonderful. But I just want to see at least that you have done all the process for at least one cost center.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. So any other questions? All right. If there's no questions, thank you very much, guys. Remember how I got here? Once you run this report, the report I did, you of course is in the record. Just double click on this guy. It's going to pull out all this. If I want to see planning overview or actual line items, I can see there are lots of reports. In fact, and before I forget, Mr. Innocent asked for some reports also at the GL side. So this is the actual line items, what we posted. You can see the transaction we posted and it hit. So this is the integration between finance and CO, because GL is the linking point, and as you select GL, in fact, in real world, right, there's always a cost center tied. All the cost centers are mapped to the GLs. So for every department, anything you're posting, you have to select a cost center for it. So that at the end of the day, they can run cost center reports, they can run planned values, they can check and see the department that is really consuming most of the resources and try to justify it. If I double click on this, it should take me to where I posted the transaction. So everything is mapped and you can see the cost center and the business area. These two and the profit center. Remember, all these things were we did when we did our second class, when we configured our CO model. So if you want, you can go back to that class, but I think everything is there already. So for other reports, I mean, reporting is robust in SAP. I don't think you can consume all the reports in SAP. So let's go and check some reports. Mr. Innocent says he wants to see the list of the GLs. If you go to General Ledger, Financial Accounting General Ledger, all your reports you'll find in Information System. If you go to Information System, General Ledger reports, these are reports for your use. If I go to Master Data, I want to see GL account lists. So you can see it here. So go to GL account list. Put your company code here. I think it's just fine. You can put your chart of accounts you want, just execute. It is a list of my GLs. So if you're not going through the other FS00, you have a report that can show you. And from here, you can export it to Excel. You can display as a table and do some other things. If you want some more fields to come here, you can check that. So, and there are so many reports. So in fact, it's your responsibility to check. So go through all if it's ARO, for example, if it's ARO that an AP, if you go to AP, go to information system, go to reports, you see vendor balance, you see all your reports. Vendor balance, vendor line item, these are reports. So master data, these are reports. Vendor list also, if you go here, put your company code, execute, you will see your vendor list with their phone numbers and address and all that. So guys, you have work to do. The one on the group chat is for next week. Is to keep you constantly working. The one test 1 and test 2 is for next week. So the first assignment is to finish up with your bigger assignments. This one. Finish up with this one. Then show me, do the finish up with your costing, do your planning, and show me, give me a screenshot. Even if you don't give me a screenshot, I can find it anyways. But it's just that I'll need the cost center that you have entered. But however, send me a screenshot of your planned and actual cost and the variance. Thank you very much, guys, and let's have a lovely weekend.
I still have one question.
Okay,
Sorry.
what is your question?
This running of the report, I'm still lost or confused. Okay, let's assume.
Which report is that?
Transaction report.
Okay.
For instance, now, for instance, maybe for a particular month, you have finished your transaction for the particular month, and you want a consolidated kind of report where you will see all the line item with associated costs, and say, oh, at this this end of the month, I spent 100 million, I sold 100 million. You understand? 100,000. Like kind of a consolidated sheet of the reports.
What kind of report is that?
Maybe I don't know. maybe I don't know how to put it. Well, I'm sure that is what Mr. Innocent was trying to like. If you have posted transaction 1, 2, 3,
check your GL. Check your GL.
Let's see all the things you bought for that month.
When you saw the things you bought, what did you buy? So the thing is that that's why I'm asking you what kind of report, because in fact your assignment, since you have said it, your assignment is go through all the report I showed you, go and check. Maybe you will see the one that you are looking for. Just go to AP, go to area. But for example, for GLs, for example, you can view everything. So let's say if I go to GL, I go to information system, I go to let's say GL account balance, go to GL account balance, run this. This is detailed, for example. There's even total here and balances. There's so many things. If it's about reports, you just need to explore it for yourself. So assignment, please go through, if possible, open all of them and check. There are so many reports. This one is even, let me just run this GL account. There are so many reports. I can spend the whole class showing you reports. This is company code. This is the fiscal year. If I execute this is GL account balance. These are the balances for all my GLs. So this is bank, cash, account payable, blah, 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 blah. If then I can go and see totals and account balance and balances. There's transaction figures. There are so many things, right? So So this is GL account balance as per transaction. So these are the GLs. These are all the transactions in the GLs. These are all the transactions in the GLs. Then there's FK10N. There's so let's say if I go to FK10N, for example, that's vendor balance display, and I execute for this vendor. I will see what should be his balance. If I open it, it will take me to these line items where all the transactions are for this vendor. So please explore, right? Explore the reports, open them, provide your company code, then enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
All right. So you have work to do. Please keep it up and try and finish up your work. Like I said, the essence of this is to